Guys, so today we're keeping it really low-key and simple, and I want to just kind of demystify this whole contouring business, and I want to just show you my very basic everyday contouring. And when I say basic everyday, it's the contouring I use for anything, whether it's a tiny bit of makeup or full glam. It's just the technique I use, and I feel like it just goes with every single thing. So that's really kind of what I'm saying with everyday is it's just like foolproof. You just have to know a couple of things. You just gotta get the right kind of product and just understand where to put it. And that is it. And so this is just hopefully a really straightforward, easy to follow video. And I just feature one of my favorite face products, and I show you the difference of how it looks different to bronzers and the difference between that. So if you're interested in how I got this look, I did add bronzer and blush to this contouring, so I just wanted to show you like this full face of makeup and what it looks like with the type of contouring I do. So if you're interested, please keep watching and stay tuned. Okay friends, so you're here with me late at night. I don't usually film at nighttime, it's like almost my bedtime. So I feel really weird right now. I feel really out of my element. I'm like, I should be like either watching my own YouTube videos, like of people that I love to watch, or like chilling on the couch, or like having a snack, you know, instead of doing this. But I decided recently that I've been able to put out videos, you know, more frequently, and I'm really enjoying that. And it's more fun to kind of stay in it instead of like do some and then fall back and then do some. It's nice to just stay in it. So anyways, I'm going to try and not digress because I am a little kind of on the tired side. So jumping into things, I just want to show you what I did to prep my face to get ready for doing the contouring, just this everyday simple stuff. So just a little, you know, just a little info. I was at the lake all day and I didn't have time to do a shower, so I used a toner to clean my face from like the lake water that was splashed on my face from kids, you know. So I just used this one, and if you want, comment down below if you would like me to explain like my skincare routine. So I use this just to kind of cleanse my face a little bit, and then I prepped my face with this cream from Belif. It's called the True Cream Aqua Bomb. I got a great little kit that's called, I think, Aqualand. It came with this eye cream that I've really been liking. It's super lightweight. It kind of just like sets in place really quickly. It goes really well under concealer. I really like this little thing. So I just toned my face, moisturized it, put a little eye cream, and that's what I did to prep my face. I'm just wearing foundation and concealer, and that is it right now. So the rest we will do together, and of course I did my eye makeup, but that's just so that it's like an actual completed look. Because it would look kind of strange doing contouring with like nothing else done, so this is like, you know, this is what it would really look like. So the way that I like to do contouring is just extremely simple. I basically stick to one product that is just really, really easy to use. And it is a powder product, and it is from the brand Cover FX. This is actually just their bronzer, and they only have 3 shades, and I use the middle one called Suntan. This is what it looks like. You can see it's a little ashy. The lights wash it out a tiny bit, but this is a really, really good neutral tone. And for reference, my skin tone, I am neutral, so I'm a little bit pink, I'm a little bit yellow. I do lean a little yellow, so that's kind of where I'm at with things. In general, the trick with contouring is that you just need a shade, whether it's a cream or a powder or whatever you prefer. You just need a shade that is more neutral and that mimics the coloring of a shadow. So next time you're outside and you stand, you see your shadow, you see it's more of a gray, cooler tone. And this is kind of what you're getting with this product. So really that's the key with contouring. And I'd say maybe there's just 2. So you need the right shade, number 1, and number 2, you just kind of need to know where to put it. And maybe number 3, you blend it. I'm going to show you a difference between a good contouring shade versus other bronzer shades that would not work for contouring that are more for warmth. This is actually not picking up very well at all. I apologize. But this is a rich bronzer. This is another, you know what? Yeah, these aren't picking up well, so I'll just show you them in the pans. So I'm gonna hold up my contour here, and then I'm gonna hold up one of my warmer bronzers, and you can see kind of the warmth that it has. It has more of a cinnamon reddish undertone. This is excellent for creating warmth and just adding that rich color to the face. but it's not gonna create that definition and create like chisel out features to like enhance the bone structure. Whereas this one will do that because it has that cool tone and it mimics a shadow. Here's another one. It's actually a little hard to tell just because of the marble effect it has, but it actually pulls really, really warm, a little on the orange side. Sorry you can't tell, the swatches just are not showing up in this lighting, I'm so sorry. But this is super warm again, it just gives you a little bit of an idea. I will say, try to be careful to not have one that is just straight gray on you. Sometimes I've seen this in like out and about in public, and I've seen girls that have a really stark line under their under their cheekbones, and it just is a harsh line and it just looks straight gray. So you don't want that either. You just want something that looks like when you move around, it looks like a shadow, like how it is under my jawline. It's just a natural shadow and you want that kind of tone. I honestly am showing this product because I think this would work for so many people, whether you need the lighter one, this one, or then the darker one, but it's such an excellent tone. So definitely go out and try and experiment with some different ones. I would suggest maybe starting with this one because I just think it's so great to use and it's just so easy to use and it's such an excellent tone. But try and test things out. If you're able to, grab a couple at the same time and then compare them against each other on the face, and even take a picture or two, because sometimes, well, definitely if makeup turns out really different in photography, and sometimes it's a little bit of a harsh critic and it'll show you a lot of like kind of the flaws, like what you're missing, but it will help you and show you kind of, oh yeah, no, that actually pulls really orange on me. That's not helping me with definition. So then the last thing is just how to apply it and wear. And of course, blending is always just part of the makeup game. I'm gonna show you my go-to brush because it's just the quickest one to use for me. And then I'm gonna show you a couple of other options. So the one that I love to use is from Bare Minerals. It's called their Flawless Face Brush. And the reason why I like it is you can see this shape right here. It's more thin, it's still fluffy, but it's thinner. So I can actually get into the hollows of areas really easily, but it's still fluffy enough that it'll blend things out really well for me. It's just a good shape. It's not too tiny. It's not too big that I would end up just like blowing things out everywhere. Like when you want to create definition somewhere, you want to have control in placing it down where you want to create definition. You don't want something too giant that's just going to be like, whoa, it's everywhere. It's not, there's no definition anymore. Say if you have like a really, really small features, or you don't really have large cheekbones or things like that, you can go in with a little brush like this. This is from Morphe. It is the M557, and this one really hugs into the hollows. So if you want to just lay down the color and then buff it out with a slightly fluffier brush, you could also do that. It kind of comes down to what you enjoy using, what works better for you, what feels the easiest to you. For me, this feels the easiest. This still works, and it's just gonna lay down that definition really quickly for you. And the last one I suggest is actually also from Bare Minerals. I just really like their face brushes. They're traditional, they're goat hair ones. This was in a kit. But basically what you want is an angled brush that is pretty thin as well. So you can see that it has a similar comparable shape to the Flawless Face brush. It just has that angle, so that can be a little easier for people to use sometimes. It kind of guides you and helps you see where to go. And the bonus of this is if you like to do contouring for your nose and stuff, you can go in like that. So sometimes a brush like this with a dual end, it's quite handy. What I'm gonna do is on one side, I will show you how I can use these little guys. And on the other side, I will show you how I use this one. Okay, so I like to press into the product more so than swirling because I feel like I just have better control and it kind of gets it down into the bristles a little bit better. So I'm actually just gonna use this mirror. Let's zoom in a little bit more. I'm gonna use this guy on this side for a start. And then I'll kind of do this one as well. They're really, really similar, but you know, I still want to show you the difference. So with placement and knowing where to put it, you basically want to do contouring where you want to create some more definition. Some people think of it as like narrowing or like refining things like that. For me, I keep it really simple. I just stick to my bone structure and just where the shadow would naturally be. My cheekbones, it's going to be underneath. For my nose, it's going to be on this bridge here on the sides where I'm already seeing kind of that shadow. And you can look around and kind of go like this and see, okay, there's a shadow there, there's a shadow here. There's not that many places, so you can kind of narrow it down pretty quick. So starting with the jawline, I like to start out here. You want more definition in here, and as you get closer, you want it to get softer as you get closer to the center of the face where you want things to be more highlighted. So place most of the color out here. And you can blend it back into the hairline because it's easy to disguise the color there. So with a little brush like this, I am just kind of placing it just along that bone. And what I like to do is place the color along the jawline here, and I can feel it start to round off here, so I stop there. And then in circular motions, just because it's such a little brush and it's not like it can really blend it out that easily for me, I then blend out especially the top. I want the majority of the definition right here below, and then I want it to kind of gradate and round off like on the top of my cheekbones, so that's why I'm blending it out on the top. And then there, all of a sudden we have that contouring, that definition. It's the right shade. I've placed it just along the bone where the shadow would naturally be cast, and then I have just blended it along the top of my cheekbone, maintaining the majority of the color here and making sure it kind of starts to round off. Like here's the ball, like if I smile, here's the ball of my cheek here. So I'm diffusing the color before it gets to that where I would put my blush. So this brush, you can see it would kind of be the same. I would place it in like this, in the same manner. And then I would go like this and use kind of the top half here to then blend out the top, if you can see. That is what I would do with an angled brush like this, especially kind of a small one. So that would be the same kind of technique. So for my flawless face brush, for something that I feel like it's a little quicker because it's narrow enough to lay down the product for me, but also blend it and buff it at the same time. So again, starting at the back of my, I always want to say jawline, starting at the back of my cheekbone. Why do I want to say jaw? You can see I'm doing this, I'm laying the product in, and then I go up like this and I'm blending it at the same time. Make sure I carry that product up into the hairline so there's no gap. So I'm softening it as I go once I have placed the product where it needs to be. So that's what it looks like on both sides. This one's a little bit more defined, this one's a little softer. I could go in a second time and add a little bit more to then match the other side. But for me, that is how I like to just do a very, very basic day-to-day contouring for my face. Stick to this ashy bronzer that kind of just does the trick for me. It has enough warmth to it. It's not too gray that if I didn't want to add a traditional bronzer, I would look fine. I wouldn't look washed out. And that's another thing, is you know that your contouring is too ashy, too gray looking if you just kind of look dead if you don't have bronzer or blush on. Still keeping this brush in my hand, I'm going to add a little bit and then I'm going to pinch it with my fingers, and sticking to this side, I'm just going to add a little bit further definition to my nose. I'm just going to follow my natural bone structure. I'm going to follow up in here and follow all the way up into my eyebrow, because you want to follow the entire bone, and that just adds a little bit of depth and definition. And the other side, going back to this brush, I pinch it just a little bit because it's a lot smaller, and this is gonna be pretty defined and a little bit more sharp. And it's easier to get in there really, so there's pros and cons to both. So you can see how that has just created that definition. And see, it's elongated my nose, it's kind of narrowed it, it's just enhancing what is already there. I'm not necessarily trying to change it. That's really all I like to do for my nose. This is like just an anytime contour. And then taking this brush again, I dip in one more time. And then I am just gonna lightly carry over my forehead. And all I'm doing is I am following my natural hairline, and I stop kind of at the temples here. And I do just enough where I'm kind of imitating almost where the sun would hit me. And what this does is this is balancing the color that I have placed in other areas on my face. And it's also creating kind of that gradation as well. So it's not just all one flat color. So it's adding more dimension while these are adding definition, and it's just marrying the color on my face. Because you might be thinking, oh, well, why am I defining my forehead? Whereas that's not really what I'm doing. I'm just balancing that color and just enhancing that area. My flyaways are wicked after being at the lake today. So the last place I like to do is I dip in one more time and I just do my jawline. So I start up at the back here again, and I just start about there. The bottom half of that bone again, just like the cheekbone. And if you're nervous, if you still feel unsure, just start with less and then build up to where you like it. And see, when you contour, it's naturally creating the highlights around it because you have that definition now, and then just the natural tone of your skin is just shining through. So it's nice to have that contrast. It's appealing to the eye in any circumstance really to have that contrast. Even in your home, it's nice when you have like a dark hardwood and then light cabinets in your kitchen. Like contrast is just always really nice. And then go under my chin as well. Just make sure that's all balanced out. And just take care not to go above the bone onto the face, because when you look forward, you could get muddy and it would look obvious. So try to stick to underneath the jaw again, where the natural shadow would be cast just from the face. And that is my everyday contouring. It's just really soft, really simple. It's really day appropriate, it's night appropriate. It's just really soft and gentle, and you don't have to have any wizardry techniques to do this at all. And there's a few different kind of brushes that can do the job. So now for you to see the full effect, if you add bronzer and blush on top, let me just add a bronzer. This one I actually never use. I kind of forgot I had it. It's from Laura Geller, and it is the Baked Bronze-N-Brighten in shade medium. And I'm just going to dip into that with the brush, with this brush that I love to use. And I always add the bronzer to the top half of my cheek. You can see right away that's a lot warmer. See how we have just the basic definition here, and then here it's more softened and blown out, and it has that warmth. So it comes down to preference, it comes down to what you like and what suits your face. A little across the nose like this. I can feel the warmth on the top of my forehead from the lake. Got a little bit of warmth there. It's naughty. And for blush, I'm going to do another Laura Geller product. This is the Baked Blush-N-Brighten in the shade Peach Delight. This blush is absolutely stunning. It's a little hard for the camera to pick it up. It's pulling a lot more pink on camera, but it's actually really corally, but it's like bubblegum pink and coral, bright coral. It's really pretty. I'm just gonna dip into this a tiny little bit because a lot kicks up with this particular one. I think because it has a lot of shimmer in it. So I'm picking this one up also because it acts like a two-in-one for highlighting. Just gives that peachy pink glow, which is really pretty. So I'm sticking to the top of my cheekbone and the ball of my cheek here, the apple of my cheek. Oops. So up like this, like that, and then like that. Isn't that just lovely? And then I like to add a little bit onto the very tip of the nose. Kind of same principle as the bronzer and contouring. I just like that balance on the face. I just think it's a fun little technique. I hope that this has demystified it a little bit because there is nothing mystical about it. It's just adding a little definition to your bone structure. Just get that shade, play around with things. And then once you have that product that you can just go to and rely on, you are good to go. You're golden. I hope this helps. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And I hope to see you next time. Take care.